A24 has conquered Hollywood because of their completely revolutionary strategy, but it hasn't always been this way. The year is 2012, and we begin not on a red carpet, but cruising down a dusty highway, the A24 motorway to be exact. Here, seasoned film veterans Daniel Katz, David Finkel, and John Hodges weren't celebrating premieres. They were wrestling with a shared frustration. Hollywood, they felt, had lost its edge. Craving a space for bold, distinctive voices, they took a gamble, fueled by a shared vision and, frankly, not much else. They were veterans, yes, but veterans without a distribution empire or a guaranteed safety net. Guggenheim Partners provided the seed money, but the rest? That was pure grit and a whole lot of let's roll the dice. Their early projects were a calculated risk. Films like A Glimpse into the Mind of Charles Swan III weren't exactly box office gold bets. They were unconventional, challenging narratives, the kind that could easily flop. But A24 wasn't afraid to lose. They understood that sometimes the biggest rewards come from the biggest swings. Here's what truly set them apart. They weren't playing the Hollywood game. They weren't chasing trends or churning out predictable blockbusters. They were curating a unique voice, one that championed auteur-driven cinema and stories that dared to be different. Films like Sofia Coppola's The Bling Ring and Harmony Korine's Spring Breakers were a middle finger to the status quo. A24 wasn't just distributing movies, they were igniting a conversation. They saw the potential of a changing entertainment landscape and embraced it. Deals with DirecTV Cinema and Amazon Prime solidified their place at the forefront of a streaming revolution. A24's early years were a testament to audacious risk-taking. They were the new kids on the block, armed with a revolutionary strategy and a burning desire to shake things up. They knew their unconventional approach might not resonate with everyone, but they were willing to take the gamble. A24 had rolled the dice because they knew they could win. This wasn't just a company, it was a rebellion, a fight for a more daring, diverse cinematic experience. And from that gritty beginning, a Hollywood powerhouse was born. One thing that's unique about A24 is that they have a very distinctive aesthetic. There's this undeniable A24 feeling that washes over you, no matter what genre you're diving into. Picture the pulsating neon glow of a Florida motel room in Spring Breakers, or the melancholic beauty of a forgotten highway at dusk in the Florida Project. Maybe it's the slow creep of dread that crawls up your spine as the perfect suburban facade crumbles in Hereditary. It's a feeling that's hard to put your finger on, but you instantly recognize it. It's a beautiful blend of unease, a sense that something strange is lurking just beneath the surface of normalcy. A24 films tend to explore the darker corners of the human experience, but they do it with a visual style that's impossible to look away from. Think bold, unforgettable color palettes, and soundtracks that linger in your head long after the credits roll. Every detail, from the camera work to the costumes, meticulously builds this immersive atmosphere. And here's the thing, A24 gets it. They understand that a movie is more than just a plot, it's an experience. They want to pull you in, not just with the story itself, but with the feeling it evokes. Whether it's the sun-drenched anxiety of Ex Machina or the simmering tension of Lady Bird, A24 films leave a mark on you. You walk away feeling like you've witnessed something truly unique, something that stays with you long after the popcorn is gone. This curated aesthetic isn't just a fancy term, it's the heart and soul of A24. It's their way of making sure every film feels undeniably, unmistakably A24. Throughout the early 2010s, A24 still struggled. Shoestring budgets, unconventional stories, they were still the new kids on the block, scrapping for attention in a crowded Hollywood playground. But here's what set them apart. A24 never shied away from taking risks. While major studios clung to tried and true formulas, A24 reveled in the unexpected. They saw potential in stories that others deemed too weird, too dark, or simply not commercial enough. Take Spring Breakers, for example. Harmony Korine's neon-drenched exploration of teenage rebellion wasn't exactly a screaming box office success, but A24 saw the film's raw energy and its potential to spark conversation. The same goes for films like Ex Machina and The Lobster. These weren't crowd pleasers, but they were thought-provoking, visually stunning, and ultimately, hugely rewarding experiences for those willing to take a chance. And here's the beauty of A24's strategy. They didn't need every film to be a blockbuster. Their focus on cultivating a unique brand and a loyal audience allowed them to take calculated risks. They understood that a passionate fan base, hungry for something different, was more valuable than chasing fleeting mainstream trends. This willingness to champion bold visions is what separates A24 from the pack. They aren't afraid to back outsider filmmakers with fresh perspectives. They aren't afraid to take a swing and miss, because even a miss with A24 often leads to something interesting, something memorable. In a risk-averse industry, A24 became the studio that dared to be different. The studio that championed the underdog, and ultimately, the studio that rewrote the rulebook on Hollywood success. But A24 wasn't content to just conquer cinema. In 2015, they set their sights on a new frontier: television. Remember Playing House on USA Network? That was A24, dipping their toes into the small screen. It wasn't just sitcoms though. They were also developing projects like Comrade Detective, a series produced by Channing Tatum himself, proving their commitment to unconventional storytelling. This wasn't a haphazard move. A24 understood the changing landscape of entertainment. Streaming services were on the rise, and audiences were craving diverse content. So they leveraged their success in film to secure a $125 million line of credit, fueling their expansion plans. It wasn't all smooth sailing though. Acquiring foreign rights and navigating international distribution deals were new challenges. But A24 wasn't afraid to learn. They partnered with distributors and even experimented with platforms like BitTorrent Now, proving their adaptability. This willingness to experiment extended beyond distribution though. In 2018, they launched the A24 Podcast, a platform for industry heavyweights like Martin Scorsese and Sofia Coppola to have in-depth conversations about filmmaking. It wasn't just promotion. It was about fostering a creative community, another hallmark of the A24 brand. The departure of co-founder John Hodges in 2018 marked a shift, but A24 continued to evolve. They partnered with Apple to produce original films, a move that solidified their place as a major player in the ever-evolving entertainment industry. A24 wasn't just a film company anymore. They were a brand synonymous with bold storytelling, and they were ready to tell those stories wherever audiences craved them. In a cinematic landscape dominated by billion-dollar franchises and spandex-clad heroes, A24 emerged as a breath of fresh air. Let's face it, we're bombarded with CGI spectacles and apocalyptic battles for good versus evil. But A24 understood a deep human desire, the desire for connection. People crave stories that reflect their own experiences, their own anxieties, their own triumphs and messes. The messy, beautiful complexity of being human. A24 films aren't afraid to delve into the darker corners of our emotions, the insecurities hidden beneath the surface. Take Hereditary, for example. This wasn't your typical horror flick. It was a deeply personal exploration of grief and family dysfunction that resonated with audiences on a profound level. It's not just darkness, though. A24 films showcase the beauty of everyday life, the quiet moments of joy and connection that often get overlooked in blockbuster narratives. Think about the tender portrayal of a mother-daughter relationship in Lady Bird, or the wistful coming-of-age story in The Florida Project. These films capture the essence of humanity, the small moments that make life rich and meaningful. In a world saturated with superheroes and digital effects, A24 offers something refreshingly raw and authentic. They remind us that the most powerful stories aren't always about saving the universe. Sometimes they're about the battles we fight within ourselves and the connections we forge with those around us. This focus on personal stories is a core part of the A24 appeal, a reason why they've carved a niche for themselves in a crowded marketplace. They offer a space where audiences can see themselves reflected on screen, their joys and struggles acknowledged and explored. In a world obsessed with spectacle, A24 reminds us of the power of human connection, and that's a story worth telling. 2019 marked a turning point for A24. They unveiled Uncut Gems, a frantic, anxiety-inducing roller coaster ride starring Adam Sandler in a dramatic performance unlike anything he'd ever delivered. The film wasn't your typical crowd pleaser. It was a visceral dive into the world of a New York jeweler engulfed in a web of gambling debts and desperate bets. It was loud, it was brash, and it was a million miles away from the superhero slugfest dominating the box office. But Uncut Gems resonated. Critics lauded the film's raw energy and Sandler's electrifying performance. Audiences, hungry for something different, flocked to theaters, proving that A24's commitment to personal stories could still pack a punch. Here's the thing though. 2019 was also the year of Avengers Endgame. The culmination of a decade-long superhero saga, it shattered box office records, becoming the highest-grossing film of all time at that point. It was a spectacle, a global phenomenon, a cultural touchstone. But here's the difference. Endgame was the culmination of a carefully constructed universe, a celebration of familiar faces and epic battles. Uncut Gems, though, was a lightning bolt. A singular vision brought to life by a daring company willing to take a chance. A24 thrives in the spaces between these two extremes. They understand that audiences crave both the epic and the intimate. While Avengers Endgame offered a universe-saving spectacle, Uncut Gems allowed us to spend 2 frenetic hours lost in the anxieties and desires of a single, deeply flawed character. In a world obsessed with superheroes, A24 reminds us of the power of human stories, the messy beauty of our flaws, and the importance of connection, even in the most unlikely places. They offer a counterpoint to the blockbuster machine, a reminder that cinema can be a space for personal exploration, raw emotions, and unforgettable experiences. And that, ultimately, is the magic of A24. But again, they weren't content with just heartwarming stories or coming-of-age dramas. They understood the power of the dark side, the allure of a good scare. In 2018, they released Hereditary, a film that sent shivers down spines and redefined the genre. It wasn't just jump scares and creepy visuals though. It was a chilling exploration of grief and family dysfunction. This foray into horror wasn't a one-off. A24 continued to explore the genre, releasing films like Midsommar and The Black Phone, each with its own unique take on the genre. They weren't afraid to push boundaries, to delve into the unsettling corners of the human psyche. This willingness to embrace the dark side further solidified A24's reputation as a studio unafraid to take risks. They understood that audiences craved more than just happy endings. They craved stories that challenged them, made them think, and that left a lasting impression. With horror checked off the list, it was time to conquer the small screen. Enter Euphoria, and with it, a cultural phenomenon unlike any other. This gritty, unflinching portrayal of teenage life wasn't your typical teen drama. It was raw, it was emotional, and it sparked a global conversation. A24 wasn't afraid to push boundaries, to tackle complex themes like drug addiction, identity exploration, and the pressures of social media. Euphoria resonated with a young audience hungry for authenticity, a generation raised on social media highlight reels, but yearning for stories that reflected the messy reality of adolescence. The show wasn't just a hit with viewers, it was a critical darling. Zendaya's powerful performance as Rue, a recovering addict navigating the treacherous waters of high school, garnered widespread acclaim. The show's bold visual style, a neon-drenched dreamscape reflecting the highs and lows of teenage emotions, became instantly recognizable. Euphoria wasn't just a show, it was a cultural touchstone. Fashion trends were inspired by the show's daring wardrobe choices. Social media buzzed with fan theories and discussions, and makeup tutorials emulating the show's dramatic eye looks flooded YouTube. Euphoria proved that A24's brand of storytelling could translate perfectly to the small screen. More importantly, it showed their ability to not only entertain, but also spark important conversations and cultural shifts. A24 wasn't afraid to take risks, and with Euphoria, they reaped the rewards, establishing themselves as a major force in entertainment beyond the world of cinema. But they didn't stop there. In 2023, A24 shattered expectations with Everything Everywhere All at Once. Now, this wasn't your typical Hollywood blockbuster. It was a mind-bending, genre-bending roller coaster ride through the multiverse, following a struggling laundromat owner named Evelyn Wang, played by Michelle Yeoh, who discovers she's the only one who can save the universe from an all-powerful bagel-wielding villain. Critics lauded the film's originality, its humor, and its surprisingly heartfelt exploration of themes like family, regret, and the immigrant experience. Everything Everywhere All at Once wasn't just visually stunning. Think hot dog fingers and sentient rocks. It was deeply personal, resonating with audiences on a profound level. This critical acclaim translated into awards glory. The film became an awards season juggernaut, sweeping the major categories at the 95th Academy Awards. A24 achieved the unthinkable: Best Picture, Best Director for Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, Best Actress for Michelle Yeoh, Best Supporting Actor for Ke Huy Quan, Best Supporting Actress for Jamie Lee Curtis, and Best Original Screenplay. This historic sweep solidified A24's reputation as a studio that championed bold, visionary filmmaking and didn't shy away from recognizing diverse voices both in front of and behind the camera. Everything Everywhere All at Once wasn't just about the awards though. It was a cultural phenomenon. The film resonated with audiences worldwide, sparking countless memes, online discussions, and interpretations of its complex themes. It proved that A24 could not only cultivate a loyal audience, but also achieve mainstream success on their own terms. The film became a symbol of A24's commitment to originality, a testament to the power of taking risks and believing in the magic of storytelling. At the time of writing this, A24 has achieved something remarkable with their latest film, Sing Sing, a powerful and emotionally resonant drama that has captivated both critics and audiences alike. Directed by Greg Quidar, Sing Sing is a shining example of A24's ability to bring challenging and impactful stories to the big screen. The film has garnered significant attention during awards season, with accolades pouring in from major film festivals and critics circles. But Sing Sing is more than just an awards contender. It's a signal that A24 has not only found a niche, but has firmly planted its flag as a major player in Hollywood. The studio's ability to identify and champion unique voices and stories has paid off in spades, allowing them to stand shoulder to shoulder with industry giants. This isn't just about one film. It's the culmination of years of strategic decisions, unwavering commitment to artistic freedom, and a dedication to building a loyal fan base. And A24 isn't stopping there. The studio has become a magnet for some of the biggest names in the industry. In the pipeline are projects featuring talents like Florence Pugh, Andrew Garfield, Gary Oldman, and Sebastian Stan, actors who are drawn to A24's reputation for artistic integrity and innovative storytelling. These collaborations signify a new era for the studio, one where they're not only cultivating rising stars, but also attracting Hollywood heavyweights eager to be part of their next groundbreaking project. With Sing Sing collecting accolades and A24 securing top-tier talent for future projects, the studio isn't just making waves, they're shaping the future of cinema. And this isn't just a fleeting moment of success, it's a sign of a changing tide in the industry. A24 is poised to keep other studios on their toes, and here's why. For years, Hollywood seemed obsessed with quantity over quality. Franchise fatigue set in, and audiences grew weary of predictable narratives and CGI spectacles. A24 offered a refreshing alternative. They championed originality, prioritized strong storytelling, and fostered a sense of artistic freedom. People are craving more than just explosions and superheroes. They want films that challenge them, move them, and leave a lasting impression. This shift signals a new era in cinema, one where quality takes center stage. A24's ability to attract big names like Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield underscores the industry's recognition that something special is happening here. The studio is restoring the magic of cinema, reminding audiences of the power of a well-crafted story on the big screen. A24's trajectory suggests that the era of cookie-cutter franchises might be fading, and they're leading the charge. The future of film looks bright, and with A24 at the helm, it's clear that cinema's next golden age is just beginning.